He ran for president in 1988 as a Libertarian and again in 2008 and 2012 as a Republican, each time gaining nationwide support for the ideas of freedom, peace, and prosperity. He is the president of the Free Foundation, president of the Ron Paul Institute for Peace and Prosperity.
There's not much different between the two. The war on drugs is the war on the poor, the war on terrorism, and they use very similar tactics to control and take away rights and victimize people that are low income or disability or gay or people of color, and it makes their lives that are already hard more difficult.
With medicinal marijuana being legalized in various states, we're starting to see a shift in a drug that was categorized as a Schedule 1 type dangerous drug. And for me, personally, I haven't been affected by the war on drugs, but I have another charge of which does not correlate to the war on drugs, and yet I still get drug tested. So you see there's a process for me to have to deal with the war on drugs, something of which is completely irrelevant to what my charge is.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm here today is because I don't think that the government or really anyone should be forcing people to force them to do things or to not do things in the privacy of their own homes. That includes drugs, that includes censorship and just so many things that liberty is so important.
The person who started the war against terror, the first president, wasn't George Bush. It was Ronald Reagan. The boogeyman then, or the other, were the narco-terrorists, and that's where the war against terror really began. And they're combining, the war against drugs and the war against terrorism. Well, it was together, starting from Reagan.
Chairman of the Campaign for Liberty and distinguished counselor to the Ludwig von Mises Institute. He has over 1 million followers on Facebook and over 400,000 on Twitter. My fellow Young Americans for Liberty, it's happening. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ron Paul.
That because of the insanity of this war, the irrationality of this war, that we have soldiers whose minds have been twisted and injured, that we lose 22 soldiers, veterans a day, committing suicide, and it doesn't seem like anybody cares. This money gravitates into this system, and lo and behold, just a few bucks gets into the hands of the military-industrial complex. Did you ever realize that? That ought to stop. They ought to pay the bills, and they should be on the gravy train by fighting undeclared, unnecessary wars that ought to be stopped and not allow war profiteers to benefit from it. It was said that they came here to attack us because we were free and prosperous. Well, pretty soon maybe they'll lose the incentive. I believe very sincerely that many people, especially the young group, are waking up to this, and they realize what they're inheriting: a bad economic system, a silly, foolish foreign policy, and an attack on civil liberties that we ought to address. If all our wealth was eliminated overnight, but we retained our liberty, and we had a government that protected our liberty and did nothing else, did not confiscate, did not force us to do things that we don't want, did not become the policeman, did not tell us what to do in our social life, did not tell us what to do in our religious life, did not tell us what to do in our economic life, how we spend our money. I believe that within a short period of time, we'd be back on our feet again.